Hola, ¿cómo estás? Zestino Gredge 07RS. You know me. Well, if you don't, I run cheap tires. I track a lot. In fact, that's pretty much all I do with this car is track. And yeah, and I like cheap tires because I'm poor. So, Gredge, Zestinos. Wow, look at those suckers. Well, let's take a look at them real quick. Here's the tread. Got your center groove, to help with the turning and stability, they say. You got a good little water siphonage there. Looks like they'll be okay in the rain. Who knows? We'll try. We'll find out. If I crash, it rains. Yeah, so cheap tires. Pretty much, how did I end up on these tires? These Zestino Gredge 07RSs. Well, to be honest, they are cheap. They're probably, I think personally, if I'm wrong, let me know, the cheapest R comp tire you can buy, literally. Uh, I'd say Federal Pros are a good 200 tread wear competition tire that's dot legal. That'd be in the running, I guess. What else would be in the running? I think Federal is probably be the biggest competitor. I know there's a couple, I'm trying to think, there's a couple other manufacturers I've seen pop up here and there for a little bit but disappear. Uh, but as far as cheap R comps, these gotta be some of the cheapest. These are 275 with 3519s. If you got that in a Federal Pro, for an example, that would be about $275 a tire, give or take. Sometimes places have deals. Sometimes they just want to get rid of tires. It's hard to say, that every tire. There's deals out there. You know, who knows? Tire rack. Whatever. These were $175 a tire. I found a couple listings at $285, and the most expensive one I saw was $200 a tire. Now, what are they? Well, spec wise, they are, as I said, 275, 35, 19. They are the S in the 07RS stands for soft. They are 140 tread wear tire. 140. Now, in the great scheme of tires, that's not very soft as far as track tires go, but they only make three compounds. They make a 140 soft, they make a 180, which is their medium, they make a 240, which is their hard. And that's it. And $175 for a competition tire in this size is pretty impressive. Impressive enough that I bought a pair. I have tried Zestinos before, one time. And it was a smaller tire, a 235 or 245, can't remember. It was for an 18-inch rim. And I got them for literally 99 bucks, 100 bucks. I mean, they're cheap as crap. And it was a hard compound. And they were okay. As far as the street tire went, they were pretty quiet. They did kind of like a lot of street tire stuff really good. But as for lap times, I wasn't impressed, highly impressed. I was interested enough in them because they did last to try a smaller or a softer compound. But at the time, Zestino didn't. All their partnerships they had kind of ended. I guess the tires I got before, and this is years ago, they were just like leftovers they just had and were trying to get rid of. I know this because Zestino themselves messaged me. I actually put a post up about their tires, and I was kind of surprised, but they actually messaged me and thanked me for trying out their tires. And when I talked to them, I was like, hey, I'd like to try out some of the different compounds. And they told me, yeah, that's not going to happen. We don't have no partners in the United States right now. Hopefully that will change someday. Well, it changed because I've found at least three so far distributors of their tires now. One catch. I only see soft compound. I don't see any other compounds besides the soft one. So I don't really know. It's I don't know. It's kind of funny, but I guess maybe that's the only tire that people were buying before, or what. And 140 is not super duper soft. It's a soft. I mean, that's not soft. When you get super duper soft, you're talking 80 tread wear, 140 tread wear. Those are like your considered soft compounds. And I get really scared when I run anything that soft because just the tire life is so ridiculously short. I will say that Federal did some voodoo magic in their 201s because that's a 100 treadwear tire, and I on this car I ran a 225 width. Can you believe that? They didn't make anything. It went like 225 width or 255 width. I couldn't get a 255 to fit on the rim, but a 225 would. So I ran them, and they were good, and they lasted forever. Like I couldn't believe how many track days, and they for a 100 treadwear tire they were good. But again, they don't make. I wish they made Federal made 201s in this size, but they don't. They'd probably be freaking $300 considering what they want for a Pro at this size. Yeah, so these are $100 cheaper than a Federal Pro 200 tread wear. They're a little softer. So, like, if you have some rules that are 200 tread wear requirements, I wouldn't put the I would put the pros above Zestino Gredge hard compound 240 compound. The pros will probably beat them. They get a little more. You can get a little more lap times down on them. But these ones, I'm expecting. Really, I'm really curious how they're gonna hold up. I'm curious about lap times, and I'm curious about holding up. It's been years since I've ran an R comp tire. I've just been running summer tires for the last couple years, and this will be my first journey back to an R comp. So, if these tires A hold up, B are faster, and C can stay the same price, these might be a little hidden gem for track dayers. Um, we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna try it out, see what kind of times we can do with them, if where they kind of stack up, see how they wear, and yeah, see what's up. Okay, here we are in a NASA race weekend, National Auto Sports Association. This is a time trials group, time trials 5 and 6 with HPD4, and HPD4 consists of a bunch of guys who are advanced drivers, but don't necessarily want to compete in any kind of race group. They're just fine with hauling ass on the track, but also don't want to be stuck with slow drivers. So they get put in HPD4, and they put them with time trials. So these guys are, for most part, are going for lap times competition and squeeze us in. So how did the tires do? Well, going into it, my pretty much requirements for the tire was at $175 a tire. I couldn't really expect too much. Only thing I was hoping for was slightly better than a standard street tire. When I say street tire, I mean a summer 300 treadwear tire, with these being competition, like not competition, but track tires. I kind of expect them to be better than a street tire. And the answer was they were better than a street tire for sure. First thing right out of the gate I noticed was braking. Braking was definitely better on these Zestinos than any of the street tires. And I'm talking street tires I've tried, we're talking Pirelli P0s, Pirelli P0 Neros, Pirelli P0 Summers, Federal ST1s, the Otusa FP8000s, BFG Goodrich's G-Forces. What else have we done? Well, those are the ones off the top of my head. And these tires on this car, compared to those, these tires would are better. Feel is much better as far as turn in and whatnot. The one thing I did notice is the car does not, since it is a rental car spec, basically Mustang GT, no track alignment, no nothing, just street. Uh, there is no street alignment on it. It's just regular old alignment. So it pushes a lot. Well, with these tires, I definitely noticed I had more front end grip. I mean, yes, it pushed, but definitely had to use less inputs and whatnot, and it did all right. Now, corner grip. These tires, I would put, I put some of those. I put it above the street tires, but the street tires cold in this size are really close on corner grip. Uh, but I would give the edge for sure to these tires, these Zestinos. Um, the trick is the summer tires, they overheat very quickly. Where these tires, the best thing about them was they didn't overheat at all. It didn't matter your first lap or your last lap. If it's a nice clean lap, you can make that your fastest lap. Um, that was the biggest thing I noticed and loved about it was when I had to deal with traffic all day, where every single lap I had to pass 2 to 3 cars. So getting a clean lap was next to impossible. Did not happen very often, but when it did happen, I finally got a session where I had a couple laps and I broke out of traffic, and then I had 3 back-to-back laps at the end, the very end of the session. And the very, very last lap I did, where they threw the checkered flag, I managed, and I just was giving it my all to see how it could do. I managed to cut my fastest time. And to do your fast time at the last lap is pretty impressive, as far as I can say. But the tires were definitely competition level tires for sure. Um, I wouldn't say they were the grippiest, all-out grippiest tires I've ever ran. I think the Hankook TD 221 cheater cut slick that I used to run, they don't even make them in the United States anymore, or for the United States, or maybe not at all, was definitely a grippier tire than this, but that tire incinerated itself in 3 20-minute sessions, where these tires, even with no track alignment, which is brutal on the front end of the car and with pushing, the worst tire, which I'll show you at the very end, I took a picture of the worst tire and what it looked like after. The backs looked fine, just little wear, nothing major, and only one real front tire pretty much took a brunt of the day. So how did we stack up overall? Well, to give you an idea where the tire on this car, this tire on this day, basically I put down the 5th fastest lap of the set of everybody in this run group. There was 2 Porsche Cayman GTSs on full slicks. I was 3 seconds off their fastest lap. My fastest lap compared to their fastest lap, there's a 3-second difference. And BMW full 3 Series race car, caged, full on slicks, I was 2 seconds off him, and one Miata that the guy must rip because he was up there too, and I was a second and a half off him. So that's a base model Mustang GT with these tires slapped on it and some brake pads, and you're only 3 seconds off a Porsche Cayman GTS on full slicks. Yeah, I can't really complain with these tires. They did pretty good. And to be honest with you, I wish I would have had clean laps in the very beginning of the day, the first session, to really see what I could have done, because I'm pretty sure I could have gotten even faster, maybe a second, I would say, because I'm looking at everybody's times. The session I did my fastest laps in versus the top guys were about a second slower. So with that being said, maybe I would have been a second faster. But yeah, the tires for $175 for a track tire. Yeah, and I think these tires, the way the wear looks, I'm guessing I'm guessing maybe 10 days, 12 days at the track. We'll have to see. I'll do some more running of them, see how long they last. But this is the worst tire right here. That is the worst one. The rest look way better compared to this one. This is the ugly duckling of the bunch. But that's it. Dude, the tires are good. For 175 bucks, I would buy 2 pairs.